gained about 5 stone. When lockdown ends, I don't want to be the big comic relief.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you think
you don't want to be the second Peter Kay to come out of Bolton.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to say that. It just came up.
No.
I'm hoping I haven't. You don't just walk out after that.
No.
Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 10 of the podcast. And now this is kind of an interesting episode because I'd say it's the first episode we've got a legitimate guest, someone who I don't know particularly well. So this is really going to test my presenting skills there. Welcome back to Ed Squared, everyone, episode 10. And if any of you know me, or you know recently I've been doing some TV work. I've been doing a bit of editing and I've had my first few experiences on set recently. So I thought, why not get an actor on?
Right.
Let's welcome Joe to the podcast.
Hello guys. Hello.
Joe McIntyre. Do you want to explain that one?
Joe McIntyre. So, McIntyre, probably Scottish.
Scottish.
Not really looked into it too far.
Yeah. Any like pressures to, play on the McIntyre name? Like, do you want to be a comic or not?
Like Michael.
Yeah.
As in Michael McIntyre.
Sorry, I probably said Michael McIntyre. Yeah. No.
If I had a quiz for every person that told me that, are you related to Michael McIntyre, I'd be rich.
I mean, I don't know. So you're an actor, right? Actor?
Yeah. Yes.
What? Anything else? Like, you do theatre or anything else like that?
Well, I'm trying to branch out now.
Yeah.
I did start as an actor. From when I can remember, really. Started as an actor. Did some youth theatre productions at the Octagon.
What age would you say like you started?
Oh God, now you're testing me. Probably around 10.
10. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're all good. So 10. I think that's really. Isn't that really early? Start 10.
That's
I suppose
pretty early.
Some people start ridiculously early though, right? Some people are born in that, I guess.
Yeah, some people, because their parents might have some kind of a life for it, so they push their kids to do it.
Oh yeah, is it like the equivalent of like a like a soccer mum, like a football mum?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
they
absolutely.
Coach people
Yeah.
Like, do they have like football mums or football dads have a look about them? Is there like a look about acting mums and shit like that? Do you think?
Do you know? I don't know, because my mum definitely does not know anything about acting really. But I've got some friends that their mums got them into it when they were about 4, 5, 6 years old, and they all, I don't want to say Karen energy.
Oh, is it?
I think it might be.
I think how entitled you are also correlates to how likely you are to be a Karen. So I guess to want your son to do good in anything, you've got to, or daughter, you've got to just be like, just been asking for shit a lot. So I guess that you could see that. Do you think everybody wants their actors and then they get older, like, well, probably more females turn into Karens? Is that a thing?
I think that might be a thing. I think I might be going that way.
Turn into what's a male Karen? Surely there's a word for that.
Oh, I don't know.
I've definitely seen some male Karens in the shop I work, man.
Oh, God.
There's definitely less of them, but I feel like there's still some out there. So
it must be a David or a Peter.
Yeah, like I feel like that's something as males we need to give a male Karen version, because then we're just like, we could be seen as being dicks because
we're dicks.
No, because if there is only female, one, there's surely going to be males ones that exist.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. But
there definitely is. I know when I have children, I'm going to be pushing them to do everything.
Oh really? Like
football, acting, anything.
No, I feel like if I had a kid, definitely sport. I want him to do, because when you're young, I feel like sport's quite important. It teaches you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Lovely, you can hear some of the Salford backgrounds there, guys. I thought I'd just leave that in there though, because kind of just gives you
authentic feel.
Yeah, where we are really. But it kind of looks like on the podcast, it looks like we're in some sort of forest, which you can believe that if you want.
Yeah, we're actually in a forest. We actually are in a forest.
That's why I like living here. But yeah, you got into acting when you were like 10.
Yeah, so one of the earliest things that I can remember doing was I signed up for the youth theatre in Bolton, which is a town in Manchester, and that youth theatre there, all it was trained to do was build up youth actors and then bring them into the actual fold of acting. So what we did there was we did like original plays and different things. Like I did a play called Decree once that was about teenagers that were discussing politics. Some of them were Tories, some of them were Labour.
When you were like 13, they were trying to act like that.
Do you know?
When I was 13, I didn't really know what politics was though. So I felt like if what the hell?
Yeah, so I think the idea behind it was we were starting to get into different viewpoints of society, and there was a whole lot of meaning behind it.
Actors sound much more competent than what the kids where I grew up around were doing. At 13, I was not thinking about politics. It's probably bad to admit, but I only voted like last year. That's when I started getting involved in politics.
Do you know? I think my vote only was last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is like if I can't vote yet, I don't need to be politically minded, because then I can't really. I don't have any influence, right?
Yeah.
Unless I have like an audience, like a large audience, I think it's important. But yeah, I think ignorance is bliss sometimes, especially when you're younger. If I had that in mind,
absolutely.
I probably wouldn't have had such I'd probably had a worse childhood if I'm honest. But yeah, so TV, acting, theatre, and you started when you're 10. What like influenced you? Like,
do you know, this is going to sound so silly, right? But do you know the TV show Friends?
Of course.
There was a character on that show called Joey.
Right.
Who I'm sure you know. He was an actor.
Yeah, he's like the dumb, kind of like the dumb character.
The dumb character.
He gets a few. You get also known for getting quite a few females as well.
Yeah. He gets the girls. He's the actor. He's whatever. And I can remember the first time it clicked in my mind. I was like, oh my god, like I want to be Joey.
Okay.
I want to be an actor.
Yeah. It's weird though because he's an actor. He's acting as an actor. As an actor. Which is mad. The fact that you could think like kind of dissect that when you're a child kind of amazes me.
Do you know? I don't even know if I dissected it as a child. I just thought, Joey's an actor and he seems quite cool.
And your name as well.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, that sounds more child mind to think he's Joe, I'm Joe. Like,
yeah.
Then who we are today.
Maybe.
Yeah. So start out when you were 10. When was so from 10 you went into this youth academy. When was your first gig? Like when did stuff start getting?
So, I would say the first proper one was the original show we did as the youth theatre, just because that was put on for a wide audience.
Right.
That was probably the first thing that I've ever done in theatre.
And that was in Bolton?
Yeah, that was in Bolton. And then, do you know, I think it shut off for quite a while. There was a massive period of time, must have been a year and a half, where I just didn't do anything.
Oh, right.
I just didn't do anything with it. I left the Octagon.
And what age was this, sorry?
I must have left the Octagon probably about 15.
Right, okay. So I don't think it's that bad then if you think, I haven't been doing much after this. I feel like if you're not very productive at 15, don't beat yourself up.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. By the sounds of it was like, I could have been doing a lot more when I was 15.
I was in such a dry spell.
Yeah. God, I should be on A-list. I should be an A-list celebrity.
Why am I not A-list yet?
Yeah. So
no, yeah, but so obviously I was 15. I wanted to focus on my exams, so I left that theatre, and then I started after I turned 16. I started looking into agencies.
Oh yeah.
And someone to represent me, properly for film, TV, adverts, theatre, whatnot. And I came across an agency in Bolton actually called Cillian Academy. And they did classes as well. So what I would do is I'd go to a class on Tuesday, for my age group. I think it was like 14 to 18, like that kind of age range. And I met a lot of the actors there. I did performances, improvisations, shows with them, and then they cast me on their books. But because I think age 16, up until the age 16, you have to be licensed. Now this is a.
So is this thing where you have to get your parents involved and
Yeah.
they start? Because the thing I was gonna say in the intro, which I should say, is I think having an actor on right now is quite relevant because of the amount of kind of, I'm gonna say, bullshit that has happened. That some I think you'll know what I'm saying. Some actors have kind of done in the way. So obviously, like, it was like a couple months ago now, Will Smith and Chris Rock. That kind of thing,
yeah.
And things like that. So I think it's very like interesting now to talk about like the start of how an actor comes up, to kind of see like not where it goes wrong, because obviously your situation
it's gonna go wrong at some point.
But just how sometimes like the influences can go and get messed up. So carry on what you're saying about so before you're 16, your parents have to get involved.
Yeah, so I can't explain this in depth because I don't know. But there's a term called licensing. Up until you're 16, if you get a paid job, it has to go through a load of paperwork and things and legalities just because you're a minor.
Right, I see.
And when you turn 16, you're not licensed anymore, so you've got the freedom to get cast for something and just get cast for something.
Yeah.
Instead of having to go through the paperwork and having to a whole lot of legal stuff I don't know about. But when I turned 16, that was when Sterling, the agency, started to get me auditions and started to pull through a little bit because I'm not licensed anymore. So I got a couple here and there TV commercials. I did an advert for a football academy that was starting in West Orton.
Okay.
I don't know.
That? I have no idea.
So West Orton is another like borough in Manchester.
In Manchester, okay.
It's
you got to remember, I'm not from here.
Yeah,
my knowledge is so bad. I moved to Manchester for uni and stuff, so I've been here
born
for
and bred.
Years, but I'm trying.
Yeah, so West Orton is like Bolton. It's another town borough in Manchester, and they were opening up like a little football academy for their sports centre, and literally all it was a 30-second ad on Facebook or something.
Okay.
And all I had to do was be able to play football, basically. So they brought out this ad and said, "Oh, anyone who plays football who thinks they might have a shot at this, please get in touch." And my agent did get in touch. And all it was is I had to just shoot. I had to shoot a free kick, and it went in, and that was the ad.
At that point in your career, you could technically say you were a professional footballer because you got paid for playing football.
Do you know what? Yeah. Yes.
Because that is the definition of being a professional, which I think is absolutely
I've just been paid to play
rubbish,
football.
right? If you are a professional, if you get paid to do what you do, so you could have just said in your Tinder bio, professional footballer.
Professional footballer.
Imagine the amount of
Paid
matches
jobs.
you would have got, man. Imagine.
Do you know? I might put that on that.
That is interesting. But your first job was, no offense to you, is a job anybody who can play football to a certain level could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? It's so weird. Because it's weird you say that because I don't actually think there's too big of a skill gap in acting.
Right.
Obviously, you've got your absolute professionals like Leonardo DiCaprio, your Benedict Cumberbatches, Brad Pitts, all of these people that are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, who plays Jeffrey Dahmer? I can't think of his name.
Is Jeffrey? All my mates were talking about that. The documentary about the person who.
The actor who plays
the cannibalist.
The actor who plays him. Oh my god, he is fantastic.
So that's a from what I heard, that's a documentary. I haven't heard anything about Jeffrey Dahmer. That's a documentary about someone who literally chops up bodies and eats them.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mate, that's
it's gruesome.
mental.
It's really gruesome.
Yeah.
I recommend it though. But obviously you've got these people that are fantastic, but the skill gap isn't really I don't think is really relevant.
Would you say it's not really relevant at that point in your career? Because I would say the standout thing about, them big names you said, Leonardo DiCaprio, and from someone outside the acting thing, is consistency. And, like, you see them, like, acting over time and, like, they're still good.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And I genuinely do think, because you get the sort of acting, like soap acting, like Korea acting,
Yeah.
EastEnders, this, that and the other. That acting is, I reckon, most people would be able to do. With 2-3 weeks training, maybe.
Right, okay.
I think.
Right, and I guess the thing I'd agree about that is because it's in such a, like, so TV, Coronation Street, East End is like working class environment. It's made for working class people.
It's the normal.
It's people living normal
Yeah.
lives, like very regular lives. So I would get that, yeah, doing that. But for me, if you threw me onto a set and just said, take one, action, mate, I'd be shitting myself.
You reckon? That's just me then.
No, fair. I would just say, I don't know, I'd give it a good crack. I just don't know if I'd want to devote. I don't know, man. The money seems good, Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's for me.
Maybe it might just be the gap between someone who's dead amateur like me and then someone who's deadly professional. Because every audition that I get, obviously as an actor you're gonna get more no's than yeses.
Right. Yeah.
And I take solace in the fact that they've not chosen me because I'm a shit actor or
Right.
I'm a good actor or whatever. They've not chosen me because of what I look like.
Yeah.
I think the type of person that you are greatly outweighs how good you can act.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tinder profiles, man. Like certain height, there's certain criteria, right? Yeah, no, I fully
Yeah, you
get
can
that.
be an absolute arsehole, but if you're 6'5", and
Yeah, no, like look at Tinder, yeah. Some people like arseholes, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of crossovers with that. But yeah, I think directors are looking for certain people who look a certain way, then the acting, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
The order goes, he looks the part. Can he act kind of? Yeah, sure. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Is that, that's the kind of...
That's the kind of thing that I take solace in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just delusional or whatever. But I take solace in the fact that they've not chosen me because of what I look like and not because I'm crap.
Yeah, no, I mean, you just gotta keep applying, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the question I have for you then is, you said you did that football acting job when you were 15, so you were still in school then, right? Still in
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
How was that going through acting at school? Did they know you were doing acting, and how did that go?
No, this is a funny story actually, because I didn't actually think anyone knew. Obviously, the people who I was close to in my year, they knew, and pretty much, well, I went to a small school, so pretty much everyone in my year knew. There was only about 130 of us in that year. And it was only until I left school, and I was actually on a night out, and I met a couple of people from the year above.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my god, how is your acting? How is it going? How is this, that? And they were like, we're so proud of you for doing this, that and the other. And I'm thinking, I didn't even know these people knew me, let alone that I was an actor.
Yeah.
It's
Do
weird.
you think that's because the area you grew up in, where like typically not many people do acting, or like why do you think that was?
I don't know. Maybe I just had this thing in my mind that said maybe no one cares. Maybe no one.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I'm like that with some work I do. I think I'm a lone wolf in the fact I do my work like just by myself. So then like when you get recognised for work you do, you're like, that's cool. That feels good.
Yeah.
Because I've done that like not to necessarily get that affirmation, if that's the right word.
I think it is.
But then you feel it. I think it's not a great, because everybody like no matter what you say, everyone likes being like appreciated. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that was it. Was that like kind of one of your favourite things? Yeah, this acting thing's cool.
Yeah.
I think acting as a job as well, just say, oh, I'm an actor. Like, the general public reap that. because the average, like, okay, let's take the average middle-aged mum. She loves all these, like, Joe Swalshes. She loves all these, like, actors, man, and people love reaping onto characteristics and love personalities.
Yeah.
So I think it is a very, like, useful job to have in a social setting, I'd say.
Absolutely. I mean, the benefits and the transferable skills that acting has is there's so many transferable skills. The communication, there's team building, there's teamwork. Honestly, there's so many things that they can use within acting.
Yeah.
I reckon if you went to a drama class, if you're low on confidence, maybe you need to make new friends, maybe, or if you go to a children's drama class, maybe it sets them up just to be that little bit more confident, that little bit more.
Yeah, because that's why I was asking about school, because maybe if I said I was doing acting at school, I grew up in an all-boys school.
Oh, did you?
I went to a grammar school, and I think if I said I did acting, I'd probably have got, like, more, you know, like when you're playing football, people have probably stuck their boots into me more, you know, like that kind of thing. They would maybe, you know, trip me up a little bit more. You know, that's why I was maybe asking if you've experienced that, or maybe that's...
Do you know, I think that might have been the opposite for me.
Right.
Just because my drama facility at school was so small.
Right.
And out of I picked drama for GCSE. And out of the kids that were doing it, I think it were only 2 of us that actually wanted to be an actor.
Oh, really?
So I think the niche of that, of me and this other lad wanting to be an actor, kind of, I don't know, maybe stayed away from the bullying.
Yeah. No. I'm just asking that. You've also got to remember, you're being questioned by a ginger guy, so you know he's probably being bullied. The likelihood of being bullied is more. No, I'm fine with it. It's just very interesting to see. I think it'd be very interesting to hear from anyone who's ginger and they haven't had any calls of bullying. Hey, it's chill. It's all good.
Or ginger and an actor.
Or ginger and an actor, as one of our friends. Lewis McGee.
Yes, Lewis McGee.
So you started out 10, 15, you had this gig. Now, where does it take you now then? Like, what are you up to now? Like,
see, I'm up to a load of different stuff at the minute. Just because. So I'll explain this. There's a website called Spotlight.
Right. And
Spotlight is basically the hub for all actors.
Right.
You pay to get on this site if you've got professional credits. So you apply to be on, and if you've got professional credits, they accept you.
Right.
As a professional actor, in quotation marks.
Unlike when you kicked a football around.
Yeah.
Professional actor, were you? No, joke.
And when I became 18, when I turned 18, I got on there. I think there's a policy on Spotlight, if you're under 25 or if you're a young performer, you don't really need that many professional credits.
Oh, right.
And I got on there, and for a year I started to get real auditions for like Corrie and Emmerdale and this, that and the other. It's a story actually. My audition for Corrie. Now, I don't know, is there a camera that shows you what I look like on this podcast, or is it just purely audio?
So you're there, man.
So yeah, if you take a look at me, I got an audition through to play a big, muscly drug dealer in prison.
Right, and I think before we go this to the audio listeners, we have to describe yourself then.
Yeah, so
people can see you on YouTube, but the people listening.
So I'm not gonna hold back. I'm 5'8". Short king. I'm not very built. I've got a baby face.
Yeah.
Can't really grow a moustache at the minute, but hopefully.
You're trying.
I'm trying.
There's a bit of stubble coming through.
There's a bit of stubble.
Yeah.
But they wanted me to play this massive drug dealer in prison, and I thought, all right, well if they want me, they want me, and I sent through a self-tape, and a self-tape is you just basically film yourself and send it off to them.
That's like a virtual like audition.
Yeah. Practically, yeah. And I got a call from my agent saying, oh, they really like this, they want you back. So I got a recall, and I had to do another self-tape with another scene or whatever, and I sent that off. and I got another call back saying, "You've been penciled. You're on pencil." Now,
Right. What does that
now
mean?
I'll explain this. On pencil, basically means is the way it came about is they'd write you in pencil, and then they'd do final checks or just final checks basically,
Okay.
and if everything's good,
Yeah.
they would write your name in pen and cement it.
Oh, okay.
You can't rub pen
Yeah,
out.
but with a pencil, man, they can rub that shit out.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
So I don't know whether that's still a thing now, but we
Right.
call it on pencil.
Mhm.
If they are umming and ahhing about you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I never got a call back.
Oh,
So,
damn. Do you think maybe they were suffering from a bit of blindness for the first couple times you saw the self-tape?
George, maybe.
No, I'm kidding. No. I
Um,
would say that maybe you could be a brute, a big prison guy, if you were in an alternate reality where everyone else was much shorter than you.
Yes.
So maybe
If
maybe
everyone was about 4 foot
maybe
5.
if you read it and it was like a world in a different reality, you could act in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know, there's a funny story, and this is why I'm not jealous or anything like this. Because my mum called me in a couple months later and was like, "Oh, your scene's on telly, the one you auditioned for." And I was like, "All right."
Like rubbing it in.
Yeah,
Like you did get the part. Come watch
like-
a part you didn't get.
I was like, "Thanks, mum." But I came in and watched it, and honestly, the guy, absolutely, he looks like a drug dealer.
Right.
Like he was a 6'5" Latino man. He had a man bun. He had tattoos. He was built. I was thinking, yeah, pick him over me.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
so yeah.
Yeah, so there are situations like that where you kind of get your hopes up. Is that kind of what an actor is? Are you very like used to being shut down then? You mentioned that previously before.
Yeah. So the phrase "don't put your eggs in one basket" is used so much when you're acting, because you send off an audition. You might be excited for it and you think, I'm gonna get this, or I'm not gonna get this, and it's human nature just to be excited about it. You
Right.
can't not put all your eggs in one basket, but if you get rejected,
You
it's
kind
how
of
you
just look from
handle
the
that.
if you just look from the outside, like I'm not actually that bothered, but in the inside, you're like, I really want
Yes.
this. Yeah, that's
Absolutely, and it's honestly, acting is probably 90% how you handle that rejection.
Right.
I can't imagine how child actors do it, because I struggle with it now. I'm like, sack 'em. I don't need this audition, whatever. I'm getting a lot better at rejection now. But I used to be.
So it's a humbling experience, would you say?
Absolutely.
I think that's very interesting, because I think the stereotype of an actor is, if you don't mind me saying, it's quite up their own arse and quite.
Oh no, yeah,
quite,
that is definitely a stereotype.
I think that's something I've definitely learned, and you guys listening can probably agree. I think if we could all think of an actor, we think of someone who, this please, like this, and is all about themselves. But yeah, mate, that surprised me.
Do you know, it's such a humbling experience, because 90% of the job is getting told no, or not even hearing. Sometimes I have emailed people and saying, "Is there anything wrong with my self-tape?
Right.
Is there anything I could do better?" Just to get that little bit of feedback from them. But most of the time, if you leave it a week and a half, 2 weeks, and they've not come back to you, then you've not got it.
Not even reply.
It's a brutal
couldn't even
job.
send a little one-line email. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
go away.
Just send a one-line email. Welcome back, everybody. We're back, and we're still talking about this whole life as an actor, and you've been on a fair few sets.
Yes,
Let's say.
yes, I have.
And we talked about your first time and stuff. What would you say is your most memorable moment on set, and something that will never leave your mind? You'll never forget it.
Do you know, it was the first time on I'm going to big myself up here, the first time on the Peaky Blinders set. I had an audition. It was only for an extra role on Peaky Blinders, and honestly, Joe Cole, who plays John Shelby, Arthur Shelby, Cillian Murphy, who plays Tom, mate, they are. It's so fantastic watching them, and this is the most memorable thing I'll take it to my grave actually. What happened was, Cillian Murphy, lovely man, lovely man, and he would, as soon as it cuts to filming, he's just deadpan. He's just Tommy Shelby. And people who've watched Peaky Blinders know what Tommy Shelby's like. He's deadpan. And as soon as it cuts, he's back to being...
Wow.
It's honestly mad.
Yeah, so you were an extra. How was it then, like, with you compared to, like, obviously the main role people? Like, you're talking about them big characters. So he would literally just be... was he super nice to you guys? And then he's just like...
Yeah, do you know...
Arthur... Yeah, you know
I had this feeling... just because prior to this, I hadn't been on I don't want to say big, but like a big production. It's the BBC, isn't it? So I'd never been on a big as production as Peaky Blinders, and I thought, they're just gonna be completely segregate the extras to the main cast or whatever. But no, we got to chat with him. He was a lovely man. Joe Cole is the most friendly guy you will ever meet. He plays John Shelby.
Right. And he's the older brother, isn't he? Is that the older brother or the younger? Because there's that Arthur. Is he the one who plays?
Arthur, I think, might be the older one.
Yeah. Who does Joe Cole play?
He plays John Shelby.
John Shelby. Oh,
so
okay.
The other brother.
Oh, is he the younger one? The one that looks kind of like H? I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Yes,
he does. Oh my God, Joe Cole looks like H.
Not really. That's the only person I could kind of compare him to. Yeah, Joe, he has like a different kind of vibe to him, I feel like. So you got John Shelby and Tom... Arthur and Tom, sorry.
Yeah.
And then him, because he has a much younger look to him.
Yes.
But then he's also like deadpan as well. How was it being in that world then? Because obviously you're on set, but from a person who just sees it on screen and we see this... isn't it set in like World War II times?
Yeah, 1912 it was.
1912.
At the time, that was the season that I went on.
1912, yeah. How was it then being there on set compared to what the viewers see on screen?
Do you know, it's mad. So you turn up I turned up in my jeans, in my Air Forces, in t-shirts, this, that, and the other. I had a Vivienne Westwood watch on and this, that, and the other, and you walk onto set and it's 1912. It is so surreal. Going from cars running outside, different lampposts and this, that, and the other, and you walk onto set and it's just 1912. It's mad. And then you get dressed into these like overcoats and waistcoats and this, that, and the other, handkerchief ties and whatnot. And they scruff your face up a little bit.
Oh really? Like
you had like dirt and you got dirt on your fingernails and this, that, and the other. And honestly, it's like being in 1912. It's so surreal. I can't believe how good it is of an experience it is to be an extra. If anyone wants to be an extra, please do it, because it's some of the best times you'll have in your life.
Yeah. When I recently worked on, I was on a set for a Netflix show called Bodies, and I had to work with a few extras there. When I was on Naked Attraction, those were the weirdest contributors.
Mate, Naked Attraction.
Those were the weirdest people to come with. But yeah, extra work. I've met a couple nice extras over time. I got a business card from one of them before.
Did you?
So I might be getting. I might be getting a job from one of them.
Oh hey.
Yeah, no.
Head on Naked Attraction.
I feel like, they're all just... That's kind of like runners in TV as well. Runners are the people who get all the teas and coffees.
Yeah.
They're always people who are just ready to learn, so they're all just there, and they've just got a really nice attitude. So I think if you can ever be on a TV set or a film set, go to it, because everyone on there, they're doing their job, but most of them are lovely people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even if you don't want to be an actor, even if you just want to go into media itself, going onto a film set is some of the best experience you can have, because there's cameras, there's microphones, there's different technologies that you can learn. There's so much you can learn, and as an extra on Peaky Blinders going into that, honestly, I must have pestered everybody. I was like, oh, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? What does this do? And I've learned so much about as an actor. Before that, I didn't know. So I obviously as an actor, you get told what to do and then you act. But now I know so much about what goes on behind the scenes. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Talking about Cillian Murphy, who plays Thomas Shelby, right?
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy. Have you seen that clip when he gets interviewed and this interviewer just asks him, so why are you not on social media? Basically paraphrasing, saying words, it's like, too old for this shit, man. Basically just saying that. Have you seen that?
Do you know, it's so cool because I was earwigging a conversation between him and Joe, who plays John, and they were just talking about some. I can't remember what they were talking about. I think it was the footy. I think it was the footy, and someone came and asked him a question, and he was like, oh yeah, and then he just went straight back into it, and then the scene started. So he was talking about footy. He was, for reference sake, he was, United are brilliant, or this, that, the other. He was talking to John, and then John would get into it. John is getting into his position as they're talking, and then the take goes, and then they're deadpan talking. They've got their Brummy accent. They've got the 1912 feel about it.
Yeah.
It's so
just
good.
the coldness. He's just a cold character.
It's cold.
Isn't he?
He's a cold character.
Cold, just like I think there's so many like memes online of, I think it's a lot of them people who are like alpha mentality, like compare themselves.
Yeah,
they go like the way he approaches life. It's so funny, man. But yeah, being on set and stuff. Is there any like secrets you can maybe, or things once again that they don't even know, like the average person that would be just like, whoa, like I had no clue that went on TV and stuff.
All right, okay. I've got a couple. You'd be surprised about. I'm sure you know much about this, but people don't know at home. There's a continuity person. So every take you do, every scene you do, there is multiple takes.
Right. You
can spend an entire day on a scene. It's not just filmed and then we move on to a different scene. It's filmed from this angle, filmed from this angle, filmed from this angle. And the continuity person, if, say, Tommy Shelby has risen his hand as he's saying something and he doesn't do it in the next take, she's on him straight away.
Yeah. So continuity meaning that it has to make sense for the whole story.
Yes.
Right?
So
that's what you're referring to.
Basically, his job is basically to make sure all the scenes line up. Because one scene could be completely facing Tommy Shelby, one scene could be completely facing John.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think when films are shot, there's so many different cameras. Yeah. Right, but yeah, it's really interesting how on film sets, like you were on Thomas Shelby, you were on Peaky Blinders, that they will do a shot with one camera, maybe for hours, right? Yeah. And then they go on to the next one. I think a lot of people don't know how much time it takes. Yeah. How many people are there.
As an extra, what I was doing, I had... I was counting money as we were walking down the street. That's all I was doing. And I must have done that 200 times.
Do you know which episode you were on?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe no. You were you little flat cap on, counting money in the back.
I didn't have a flat cap.
Okay. I'd assume everybody on that show.
They're all Peaky Blinders. No, I didn't have a flat cap on. I didn't have an overcoat.
Oh yeah, that's my bad. That's them because they cut people with their hats. Yeah. That's fucked, man. Don't you find that fucking weird? Not weird, but just absolutely
savage,
fascinating that those people during that time which just went round like gangsters, man. Absolute gangsters walking around.
Do you know, I don't know what episode it is, but I think it might be in season 2 or season 3, I think.
Yeah. Well, if any of you
if anyone's rewatching Peaky Blinders or watching it for the first time, please look out for me.
I need to rewatch that show, man. It is good. I think I watched it, like, I just binge watched it the whole way through, like a year ago.
Mm.
It's good, man.
Oh,
Little did I know, you were there somewhere.
I was there somewhere.
Any other things, maybe more recently? Any sets you've been on? Anything like that?
Do you know, I've actually not been on too many sets recently. I've done a couple of theatre productions, which is a whole different world.
Right, yeah. Well, maybe we talk a bit about that. Yeah, how's theatre then compared to TV? Like?
So, theatre, there's a massive difference. So there's no cameras.
Right.
The one massive difference, and I'm sure you know this, like 50-60% of a film set is cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Boom mics, this, that and the other. There's none of that for theatre. It's all practical.
Yeah.
So the things that you'd see on a theatre set is the props, is if they've got technology with lights and sound and this and this, that and the other. And it's coming from a film set, going directly to a theatre set, I reckon it feels naked. It's just the actors.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Does it feel like from an actor's perspective, it's a more pure form of acting? Because I feel like it goes to that thing, back in the day, it started as an actor or a set of actors on stage performing in front of an audience.
Yeah.
So as a performer, is it more natural to you, or to actors in general? Is theatre a purer form of acting?
See, this opens so many avenues. On one street, yes. Just because there's no pre-production, there's no post-production, there's no anything, there's no editing. It's just the acting.
So it's more reliant on the acting.
It's heavily reliant, and then obviously you've got sound cues and lighting cues and when to light stuff up and when not to light stuff up and sound effects and whatnot. But primarily it is just acting.
Wow.
Whereas TV, it's acting, but there's so much shit that goes on before, after, during.
Yeah. It's a whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's months, years, several years long process.
Absolutely.
Whereas maybe if you're performing in theatre and you have a bad day, well, you've done a bad job.
You've done a bad job. That comes to the bottom line of it, and I think the thrill that you get where on a film set as an actor, you know you can fuck up a couple of times,
right? Because
they can just cut it and then reshoot the scene.
Especially if you're like a big actor as well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You're not as afraid to fuck up.
And maybe it gives you an opportunity to like experiment as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it this way. I'll do it that way.
On a theatre set, you get one shot, or if you're doing a tour, you get one shot in
like in High
each
School
place.
Musical, you've only got one shot.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah. I get you, man.
But I'd argue that
that is also a musical theatre thing.
It is musical theatre.
Yeah, but it all ties in. Yeah, sorry.
I love MT. But do you know what? I'd argue theatre acting is quite the opposite of real acting.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is theatre is very caricature. Theatre is very hands, emotion. There's a load of emphasis on what you're doing. And TV, it's all in your face.
Right.
I hate to admit it, but TV is all in your face. So it's the subtle movements of what your face is doing, or what you literally. It can be a shift of your arm or a shift of your leg for the effect to come on film.
The emotion to be. Yeah.
But in a theatre, it needs to be so much more bigger, because if I use my experiences in the Octagon, it's in the round. So there's audiences all around you.
I see, yeah.
And you need to be facing one audience and then looking to another audience, and then you're projecting it in 360. So you need to be turning around all of the time.
It's like having thousands of cameras. Right?
Yeah.
Well, it depends which way you're going. Yeah, that's really interesting. So like I was saying before, a good example I would probably think to visualize it is you think of Shakespeare and the way he's moving around.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that kind of thing. It's very visual. No, I think that's very eye opening. I never thought about it in that way. Which one right now do you think you're enjoying more doing?
Well, I will always be a theatre kid,
Mm-hmm.
just because that was my gateway into acting. I love it. I love the thrill of you can't fuck up, or you will do a bad job. I love the thrill of people actually watching you. I think that I get my kicks through that. But film, I really do like film. Film is really good, but I probably would prefer theatre.
Yeah.
Right now, my mind might change in like 10 minutes time. But,
10 minutes time.
but probably theatre.
Lovely, man. So. I think now's a good time to move on to one of my favourite segments of the show.
Go
on. So I've got this show, this segment of show called Fair or Square.
Okay.
So the way this works is I'm going to mention a subject, and we're going to talk about if it is fair or square.
Okay.
Square meaning, is it traditional, old-fashioned, and it's basically not relevant today. So
Okay.
we're gonna say something. We're gonna say, do we still need that today? Basically.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, I mean, one of the things I thought of for today is signatures, right?
Okay.
So I see I've been watching a lot of documentaries recently when you see like celebrities going through, and there's it was like mid-2000s, like everyone asking for signatures.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And I know today they're still relevant, but I feel like they're kind of getting taken over by people taking selfies.
Selfies,
now.
yes.
Everyone's like coming up to you, like not me, sorry, but yeah, maybe you one day.
Well, hopefully, there's time. Yeah, there's time.
Tons of people. So yeah, first of all, would you prefer someone to come up to you and ask for a signature or a selfie?
Do you know, in this day and age, I'd probably say a selfie.
Okay.
Just because I think with a photo you're capturing a moment.
Right.
And that moment, every time you look at it, you relive it.
Yeah.
In that sense, I think a photo would be more beneficial. Is that the right word?
To the person getting the photo. I just look at some of the like celebrity pictures that get taken. For example, do you know Jack Mate?
Yeah.
He took a picture with Machine Gun Kelly.
He did, didn't he?
And he told the
Machine
story.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, I think it was at a festival in the UK, and he just goes how he was a complete arsehole to him.
Yeah, he did not want to know it, did he?
Are you gonna fucking take the picture, man? And then he takes a picture, and you can just see in the picture that he's
just not bothered.
Yeah.
He's
so
arsed.
I'm just saying, to that extent, I feel like a signature would be quicker, and you're not. Say what if I'm going down to fucking Aldi and I've got full tracksuit on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, do you know, you raise a good point there actually. If you're caught off guard or whatever.
Yeah.
Just want to get your milk from Tesco or whatever.
I met Stephen. You know Stephen Tries?
Stephen Tries, yeah. Stephen Tries.
His mate Max. He came into the shop. His like comedic sidekick. I met him. He came in the shop, and I was working. I was like, "Fuck it, I need to get a picture." So I took a picture.
Oh
of him.
mate, I love Max. Stephen Tries. He's a comedian in Manchester, isn't he?
Yeah.
Based in Salford.
Yeah, very local comic. But yeah, man. Do you think? Do you think signatures fair or square? Like, do you think we still need them today?
I reckon yes. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Just because I've never experienced it, but I reckon the thrill of signing something for somebody would be brilliant.
Feels more official. Right?
Yeah.
Because then we could take a photo. You can take a photo with a celebrity without their permission.
I think then if it's on like a piece of paper or a book or whatever, you get the signature. I think that object then becomes like memorabilia.
Yeah. No, talking about putting pen to paper, mate. I've heard you've got a little something you've been working on recently.
Well, yes. I've got many ventures.
He does many things, this man.
I'm not just an actor anymore. Yes. So I have recently established my own business.
Wow.
Just
19 years old, he's got his own business.
Well, yeah. It is primarily just like at the minute, it's teaching younger kids about drama, about acting. For the minute, it's only like 5 to 10 years old, so I'm hoping to like build confidence levels, maybe make some new friends for the kids or whatnot. But hopefully, if it really kicks off, I'll be branching out into teaching teenagers, teaching adults, teaching everybody. And hopefully that kicks off. I'll be able to quit my job.
Do you think am I a little too old to join? Probably a little bit too old for me to get involved.
Well, right now probably yeah, but I'd say down the line there's never a bad time to get into acting. I mean, look at Morgan Freeman. He was what 40, 50 before he got in. Yeah.
That man has a beautiful voice.
Oh, he's got a beautiful voice, hasn't he?
Do you think voice, can it be quick one? Can it be changed? Can you train a voice? Do you think someone like me could have I couldn't have a voice like Morgan Freeman. Do you know what I mean? Like voice acting.
Well, voice acting and voice coaching is a big thing. If you can do accents, that is so big. I think within the right environment, I think you can train your voice to sound completely different. I mean, at my I want to say heritage. It's not heritage the word I'm looking for. My family is originally from Liverpool.
Right.
So they are Scouse. They're from Busker in Liverpool, and they have this heavy Scouse accent. So when I ever visit my grandma and my granddad, I go completely Scouse.
Mad. That is crazy because you do not sound Scouse at all.
Yeah, I'm a Bolton born and bred.
Yeah.
I support Everton, which is a Scouse football team in the Premier League. And whenever I go down, I just get this Scouse twang that just completely dissipates when I go back to Bolton.
I definitely go my Yorkshire when I go back home. Yorkshire. I go my Yorkshire. No, that's mad, man. Did you know James Bond, the guy, what's David Craig? What's his name? Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
He's from Liverpool.
Yeah, I've heard this. But he doesn't sound like he's from Liverpool, does he?
No, it's that. So you can train your voice. You can be whoever you want to be. Just fake it until you make it. Is that maybe the message we're saying?
Well, maybe for your voice.
That is basically your job as an actor. You are faking it.
Well, do you know what? It's funny you say that because I attend this kind of like I don't want to say it's a uni, but I attend this academy down in London called the National Film Academy, and whenever I go down to London to do a group project or anything with them, I choose to not speak in a Bolton accent.
Oh, okay, yeah, like a kind of neutral accent. Right? Yeah, and I definitely find myself when I know right now I'm talking to cameras, I'm talking to a mic. I want to be able to be able to be understood, right? So I think I think it is that thing of whichever environment you are in, you adapt to it, right? That's
and I think that's on a subconscious level because I think right now I don't think I sound as thick of a Bolton accent as if we were off camera.
Yeah, fully. Like when we were talking before, like strong Bolton accent. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's just like when you're talking to an old granny or you're helping an old granny across the road. You're gonna talk a little bit slower.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk a bit. Okay, you are a bit of a dick if you do this, but I do talk a bit louder because you assume maybe the man will.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's just like that. I think we're not talking eloquently because we don't think you guys can understand us. It's just in case,
Just in case you can't hear us.
Nice guys, just don't look too. No, man, that's really cool. So your goal is, you're gonna. Well, have you started teaching?
Yes.
Kids? Yeah.
Currently, I'm doing one lesson a week at the moment, on a Sunday, and that is just 2 hours. I live in a village with a primary school.
Oh yeah.
And fortunately, I went to this primary school, so I know a lot of the people
lovely.
there. And literally, I just asked. I said, "How much is it to rent out your halls for 2 hours a day?" And they gave me a price, and I said, "Please, can I teach acting here?"
You were like, "I've got acting money, baby. Give me like 2 hours." Yeah, 2. Actually, give me 4 hours, but I'm only going to use 2 hours, just so you know I have.
Just so you know I'm about it.
no, I get that. No, on a real though, that is really cool, man. What's kind of made you do that from such a young age? I think fascinating, because I always look at myself and go, maybe when I'm like 50 or 60, I would maybe like to teach media, stuff like that. So what has made you do that from such a young age?
Well, do you know, I reckon it stems down from my dad. I'm not in touch with my dad anymore, but he had reservations about my acting career.
Right.
Obviously, it's a very, very, very tough world to get into, and more likely than not, you will not get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And he, probably rightly so, had some reservations. He said, "Well, what's your plan B going to be?" And I said, "I don't want to not do acting. Acting is my life. I don't want to do anything but." And I came up with the idea that I would teach. But I don't really like the curriculum way of teaching.
Right.
Giving exams, doing tests and performances to be assessed and this, that, and the other.
It's an art, right?
It's an art.
It's an art. So it can't be taught the same as maths, English.
Exactly.
I agree, man.
So I took it upon myself. I said, look, I reckon I can do some classes. It won't teach them a curriculum. It won't get them a degree or a GCSE or anything. But it might teach them to act.
Yeah.
And it might teach them to boost their confidence. They might make new friends.
Yeah, being able to talk in front of a camera does definitely or an audience. Sorry. Yeah, it definitely does do something to you, and I think that would have a positive kind of spin.
My aim for the minute is obviously because the 5 to 10. That's my age range, and I've got 11 of them, and some of them want to get into acting, and some of them don't. So some of them their parents have put in because they're a little bit. They've got self-confidence issues.
I've got yoga on Sundays. Put Jimmy down there, like that type of thing.
Even as maybe like a stress release. Maybe the kid's having some stress at school.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not making any friends. And he tries to make some friends, and if I can raise a little kid's self-confidence for them to be able to speak in front of a class, to be able to make friends, to be able to go into different situations that they may not want to, then I think that's successful.
Yeah, no, that's so cool, man. And also 5 to 10 as well. So very influent. You can be influenced that stage in your life. You're influenced the most.
Yeah.
Right. So if I was looking after 5 to 10-year-olds, I would not know what to do, man.
Oh
Jesus. So you've had a few lessons now. Like, how does it go?
I've had 10.
Right.
10 lessons with them now. Some of them come and go. I've got a couple new ones starting in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. 5 to 10-year-olds, they're a handful, but it's rewarding when you get it right. I think my first couple of lessons, I was definitely so nervous. I couldn't control the class at all. I did not know what I was doing. But then I sat down and really connected. Sounds so weird, but really connected with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
The kids don't see me as a teacher. They just see me as this guy who puts on a drama class on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And
are you like the fun teacher?
Yeah. I'm trying to be. Maybe they don't see me as that, but I'm trying to be. But maybe it just helps them a little bit in school, maybe, or in the home life. Maybe their home life isn't so good. And maybe 2 hours out of the home life is good for them.
Yeah.
You never know anyone's situation. And if it helps them, it helps them.
Yeah, no, that's really nice, man. I never thought. Yeah, I mean, you're about to make me cry nearly.
Well, I am trying to branch out into different ages.
Yeah, that's so cool. Sorry, that's just so cool at a young age that you've got that mind of like kind of giving back, and it's very cool, man.
I think I've always had that giving back kind of vibe. I've always, if someone's running low on money, I'll treat you 10, I'll treat you 20, I'll lend you some money. Don't worry
I've
about
lent
it.
you 50 quid now. Where's my money? I'm just gonna keep asking you for money then, if that's okay with you.
Well, I know what your scheme is now. So.
Yeah, man. But thanks for coming on, mate. It's been really nice having you on.
Thank you very much, man.
I'd like to think that you'll talk to me again after this episode.
Well,
haven't scared you off. Have you had an alright time, man?
I've had a wonderful time.
Lovely.
Wonderful time talking.
Lovely. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. Like Joe said, I'll leave any links to any of his classes. I'll leave links to his Instagram and stuff. But we are available on YouTube, Spotify. We have a TikTok and an Instagram. Check us out on all them platforms. And yeah, guys, we have new episodes every week. Clips on YouTube as well. Thank you very much for listening, guys. See you next week.